I don't think many students I'm finding got it. Okay, let me do this. As I interview students, or they may send me an email regarding the program, they really don't look anything up online, and we have everything posted. Dave Moretti was very efficient and effective in helping me do that on our website, but they do not look anything up. So very important to ask them to go to the website and do some reading on their own. It is a 2-year program. Courses are block programs, and they're consecutive. So, for example, if they miss a Western 1 class or they fail it, they can't go on in the spring semester. If they don't take biology, they can't move on to kinesiology. So it's important for them to realize they have to do all their 1,000 hours. It's a state mandated program hourly. They must be able to pass all the science courses. They're offered in a certain order. Not everything's offered every semester. So they need to be aware of that. They're not. And so I'm asking you to inform them of all this. They must have certain requirements in, like they have to have their BLS, basic life support, their medical insurance, liability insurance from the AMTA. They must have a uniform from Land's End. I'm going to briefly go over this and then let Vicki take it over. They must have their health requirements in before the start of classes, or they're not allowed on campus. But the most important thing is they have to understand what they're taking on. I think some students really think, oh, massage, this is easy. It's not. I don't want you to discourage them. I do want you to encourage them, but I want you to make it real for them. We are looking for them to be obviously serious about the program, be safe. They're going to be taking a board, and they're going to be working with patients. So for us, we're looking at a sense of maturity, responsibility, obligation, and being up front and center. One thing I just want to share that's changed, we have a new elective. It's Eastern 3 HA 201. We will be sending you more information, and the catalog will be updated this spring. So Eastern 1 and 2, Eastern 1 is offered in the spring, Eastern 2 in the fall, are requirements for this class, and Practicum 1. They will be taking Eastern 3 if they choose to pick it as one of the electives in the spring. So right now, we currently have Thai massage, we have pregnancy massage, hospital-based massage, sports massage. So now we will have this Eastern 3 elective for students to pick, for those who want to continue with the Eastern philosophy of training. Does anybody have any questions for me? Okay, I'm going to have Vicki step in now, and as the advisor and counselor from ASAP, we've worked closely together, and Vicki, please take over.
Okay. Hi, guys. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to share my screen. So every advisor is going to be sent these 2 PDFs, the student handbook for massage therapy and the student packet. I'm going to kind of briefly and quickly go through them. It's extremely important. We want students to first read the handbook and then to go through the packet, because the packet kind of has a little bit more information on it with steps on how to do things. We kind of changed that packet a little bit. We had been informed that some advisors were kind of making up their own stuff and sending it out to students and not sending the packet or not sending the handbook. Handbook hadn't necessarily been sent out before previously, but we want only the approved packet and handbook to be sent out to students. That's it, nothing else. So just going through the handbook, it's just kind of going through information. There's a link to the health clearance forms and the health, where to send them. This goes into more detail, goes a little bit more detail about the health, about the fact that it has to be sent in before the first day of classes. They have to have actually a health clearance form. So when students send in their health clearance forms, those are reviewed by Christine Mullen and sometimes by Isabel Hosevar. And students will then receive a health clearance form once that is approved by them, that they have, in fact, everything they need to have in. They have to have that health clearance form with them when they go to their classes. So the whole first week of classes, students have to have that health clearance form with them, because it will either be it might be any one of the HA professors or all of the HA professors that ask them to show that. They also have to have the first aid and CPR for healthcare providers, and they have to have proof of that as well during the first day of classes. and they have to have liability insurance from the American Massage Therapy Association and proof of that. So 3 things that students need to have in massage therapy during the first week of classes and bring them to every class: the health clearance form, proof of first aid and CPR certification for healthcare providers, and proof that they have their liability insurance. This then provides a link. They have a link here to the AMTA student insurance. And then there's an introduction to the program description, the objectives of the program, general information, dress code, and hygiene for labs and clinics. Then it goes on to courtesy, talks about the medical clearances, qualities of professional behavior. This is what they're looking for from the students and to be a part of this program. Their academic standing and progression. So we talked about passing, but is really important for students to know is that they must have a C or better in all HA and BI courses and maintain a GPA of a 2.0 before they can progress on to the next HA and BI courses. So students that get a C- or below have to repeat that HA or BI course in order to move on to the next courses. If there are extenuating circumstances, I've always reached out to Isabella to talk to her. And if needed, if there's something extreme that's occurred that you feel the student really needs to be able to move on, you can talk to Isabella about it and you'll discuss it and discuss the student. If this or the student can reach out to Isabella as well and explain the situation. They talk about how the students will be communicated with. Attendance requirements, again, really, really important is that if the students don't attain all 1,000 hours of the hands-on the hands-on part of the course, they will not be allowed to sit for their licensing exam or their board exam upon graduation. So that's why that attendance is extremely important. They discuss tardiness, penalties for late submission assignments, makeup exams, the quality of writing, and give a lot of great links here for students. Policy on academic integrity, Title IX information, accommodation for disabilities, the licensure information, scope of practice for massage therapists in New York State. So that, in brief, because I want to try to get through it, is the handbook. And then when we go on to the packet that was created for students, it gives the contact information here. We've added a table of contents to make it a little bit easier. And then just going into this is a welcome letter. This is a massage therapy checklist for new and for continuing students. And it tells you who is who, the date by which they have to have their medical record and physical exam forms turned into, which is the medical clearance forms, to health services for the fall semester is going to be July 28th. They want it 30 days prior to the start of classes. We don't yet have a date for fall classes to begin. We had to kind of estimate about when the fall classes will begin, which is why we have the date of July 28th up. This then goes into the medical records. We have the email addresses for them here. I've also now added in here what is required every semester. So they have to have the COVID-19. Sorry. Oh, I heard you.
Sorry.
That's okay. COVID-19 PCR test.
Sorry.
That's okay. Has to be completed within 2 weeks of the start of the semester. Every year, they have to have the history and physical exam turned in, urinalysis, the quantiferon on TB Gold, influenza vaccine has to be taken every fall. Every 10 years, and this is just for students to know, not that they're going to be in the program for 10 years, but if they had gotten the Tdap, which is the, oh my gosh, tetanus, sorry, my brain just died. The tetanus shot, if they have to look at when they got their last one, and because that is required every 10 years. So if that's going to expire during the time that they're in the program, they need to get that done again. And then these are the items only required upon entering the program. Of course, with the vaccines, if they don't have the actual vaccine, they can get the titer done. I just didn't include titers on there, but with vaccines, if they have had the titer, that only has to be turned in one time. We can't express enough to students if they don't submit their medical documents and receive health clearance on time, that they will not be allowed to attend the massage therapy classes, period. There's not going to be exceptions for that. This then has the letter from the health services office that's just been updated for fall. And you have copies of all of these are all the forms that they have to have completed. This is all right here in the booklet for them, in the packet for them. Obtaining malpractice insurance. I know some students have had some issues with this. So again, I've given the link and basically step by step what they've done. They do have to show that they're registered at Queensborough Community College in these massage therapy classes in order to be able to get that student liability insurance and to join. It is free for students. In the past, it would say other organizations. At this point in time, the massage therapy program wants only the Massage Therapy Association insurance and for them to join that as their professional organization. Ordering uniform from Land's End, I gave them step by step exactly what they need to do. This is an example of what it should look like when they go to check out. Where it says preferred school program, it should say Queensborough CC Massage Therapy Program. They need to make sure that that is there when they go to check out, or they will not get the correct uniform. First aid and CPR certification. Students may take both HE 106 and HE 110 at Queensborough in order to receive their certification, or they can take the basic cardiac life support BCLS course offered through continuing ed. They do have them up. I just looked last night. They do have them up for the spring semester now. And I'm sure they will have some over the summer. Or they can take the basic cardiac life support for health professionals course through the American Heart Association. Once they've obtained the first aid and CPR certifications, they need to send a copy to the health services office. These are all the courses for the major. And I have included on here for you guys what's only offered in fall and what is only offered in spring, along with the prerequisites and co-requisites, so that you have all of those. And with the electives, I did add in last night the Eastern Massage Therapy 3 and the prerequisites for that course. That of course is going to be included as an elective. It's because it's different than kind of the pregnancy massage, the hospital-based massage. I put that separately because it's kind of a continuation of the Eastern classes. And that is that. So I know we're right at 11:15. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vicki. That was great. Thank you so much for all your help with creating all this. The other thing I wanted to say, someone just asked in the chat box, as I said earlier, Eastern 3 will only be offered in the spring because they will have completed their Eastern 1, which is offered in the spring, and Eastern 2, which is offered in the fall in the spring. Also, with the student deadline of July 20, we up until the first day of class, but it becomes a little challenging and daunting because they do need to have all of these things in. So quite frankly, we've been playing it by ear every semester. We don't want to lose students given the current crisis on campus. So we try to work it out some way, somehow. But we don't want that to be known to students who are already entering the program because they're going to use it and delay. And I often get a question from new students is like, is there a deadline? Yeah, get it done now. Don't wait till the last minute because they're notorious for waiting till the last minute. Let's see. That was so clear. Thank you. Okay, yes. Thank you, Vicki. Thank you so much. That's a great picture, you, William. Any questions for us? Vicki, thank you, really.
Welcome. You're welcome. Just to reiterate, any student that registers after July 28th, they should be told it's due immediately. Like you need to go to your doctor today or tomorrow and get this done, period. Like that's where it should be.
Yeah, so I mean the chart that you made, Vicki, if you could send that out, that's great, because I think it's a really the best complete breakdown I've seen of the program. So I think that would be really important.
I want to again thank you, William, and thank Vicki for working with me. This whole pandemic forced our hands, and I'm so glad that she stepped up and we were able to work this out so that it would make it easier for all you guys, because we know how hard it is and how overworked you are, and you barely have time to breathe. And, how can you answer all these questions on a dime? It's hard. So we really hope that this will help you tremendously. And as always, we're both available anytime. And you have my cell phone number. Feel free to call. I do not turn anybody away. You know that by now. For all the help you give us with our students. Really appreciate it. And thank you again, William and Vicki.
Thank
No
you.
problem. Thank you. Any other questions for massage therapy? Anybody?
Yeah, Edna, I'm going to send out these 2 packets to all advisors. I'll do it in a few minutes because I have another student meeting in a minute. But I will send it out to all advisors. We are requesting that when you advise any student in massage therapy, whether they're a continuing student or a new student, that you send them both the handbook and the packet. So you should be
They
sending
must
them
read
both
it.
of these. Yes, and tell them to read it. Read the handbook first and then the packet.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right. Next up is Professor Adair from Speech Theater.
Communication,
Yeah, that too.
theater, and media production.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm still figuring it out. It's a long one. I guess there's apologies for that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how we would.
That's why you're here to tell us, right?
I don't know if there's a better title. So hello, everyone. I just realized this morning as I was putting together my presentation, usually at this time, what we do is we roll out the cohort schedule for theater and also for the film and media production degree. We do have a first and second semester cohort assigned schedule for the students in those programs. But as you know, things are running a little behind this semester, and I have not received that quite just yet. So I was thinking about what other updates that there were. I guess I can share my screen.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, cool. I'll just share my screen briefly. And just as a reminder, here's our department homepage. For theater students specifically, we have a current students page that we find helpful for them. It talks about their theater faculty mentor. As you know, we have a faculty mentor program. Got a new little commercial going there. Check it out if you haven't. We have a little recommended sequence here that we think helps the student navigate the degree path. And let's see. Oh yeah, some registration and advising policies. And then also, if you're ever wondering, if you're meeting with the student and you're wondering who is the mentor, the faculty mentor, we have it right here. So it'll just list who the professor is, and you could just include that professor in any questions you have, or direct the student to the mentor if they have not met quite just yet. And what else? Oh yeah, and this is the first year of our new program that it was revised. It's been revised a few times over the past 2 or 3 years. Here we are in Course Dog. I hope that's going well for everybody. I guess the biggest change that we made was to reduce the requests for I don't know if they were substitutions, but requests to have certain courses slotted in pathways as opposed to have them slot in the major. And the 2 big ones were in the flexible core, US experience and its diversity. Right now, SP211 is required in that bucket. And then also in the flexible core creative expression, TH111, Introduction to Theater, is required in that bucket. I know this is, somewhat of a common practice on campus. So if a student takes another course in those buckets, if there's not room in their theater major electives, they would have to take additional courses to satisfy those 2 requirements. And yeah, I think that was really the big change to the program requirement. Yep. And what else?
Got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Theater 153.
153.
So there's been a couple changes, like with degree audit with that same course, because it was something else before. I think it was 151.
Yes.
Now you guys made it 153.
Yes. Yes.
So we could just touch on that a little bit.
For sure. So yes, in the past, there was a course, TH151, which was voice and movement for the actor. It was only a 2-credit course. And what we did was we split that course into one voice, TH153, it doesn't highlight, and 154, movement for the actor. We made voice the required course, okay? Now, if a student is on the old degree plan and they did take 151, that's okay. That could be slotted in the major requirements. And then we would probably just require an additional credit in the 13 electives. I think that's what's been happening. I haven't seen too many students with that scenario quite just yet. But yes, there is no more TH151. It has been split into 153 required and 154 an elective. And I'm trying to think, I'm not even sure we've run 154 quite just yet because this all happened right with the pandemic. Yes. All right, other questions? Got a bot? What else here? I think that's it. I don't want to just fill time and waste it.
Do you have an ETA on when the
cohort?
The cohorts come out?
Georgia, Chair McGill is usually pretty, that's one of the first things she does once they figuring out the schedule. So I assume that will be done shortly.
Yeah.
And then we will send it to you, I guess, Will, and then you can distribute it to everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, we're still waiting on registration dates from registrar, so I think it coincides with that.
For sure. Yes, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
One other, so that's all I have for theater and film. The other thing, I know you all are a major part of Starfish. I've joined that Starfish team. We've changed some of the flags and referrals and the kudos. We also updated and redesigned the templates that went out. They are no longer going out in the professor's name because there were some issues with that. So you've probably seen the templates now. There are some slight changes. We try to write it from the student perspective. And what else about that? I think, oh yeah, and then we changed the website. I don't know if you saw the website. I was going to take a quick look at that. Why not? While I have you here. Where are we? So yeah, so there's two ways to go in to find Starfish. I usually go to the tech tools and then Starfish. So we changed the
sign in again for me
here, the image, and we've rebranded it. Instead of an early alert, right, or a retention support system, these things make no sense to students, and they also sound a little punitive. We're kind of rebranded it as a student success communication network. And what we want to do is the student is in the center.
I don't have it yet.
Oh, question?
Hold on, I'm gonna update my, nope, I don't have it yet.
You don't have what?
I think he needs to mute. Everyone, please make sure you're muted.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. So the other thing we did was we kind of streamlined the information here for faculty resources. We got a little student art image here. We retitled the progress survey dates instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. We thought that we could kind of give them some definitions: strong start, progress, midterm, and then final. And what else? And there's a little picture of a lot of students. So we streamlined this, and I hope that everything's going well. If you have any issues or questions about Starfish, I guess you can talk to me or talk to Will or talk to Michael or whatever your navigation is in that realm. Cool. Anything else? Any other questions?
Okay. I think, all right. Well, listen, thank you very much. As always a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
We're moving a little ahead of schedule. So
yes.
I believe Professor Shakar is here.
Yes, I am. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Thanks for the invitation, William.
You're welcome.
So I am Dr. Nina Sirkar, Associate Professor in the Business Department, and I am here today to speak to you about our new fully online business administration program. So William, let me see if I can share the screen, because I've had trouble in the past. And if not, if you could just pull up my PowerPoint, that would be wonderful.
Okay.
All right, guys, can you see this?
Oh, great.
You can?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'm the program coordinator for this fully online business administration program, which is in its fledgling stages. We just about launched last fall, started with 8 students, and we have grown to 71 students as of this semester. So what is this program? This is the exact same program, the BTAS, the AS degree program in business that you guys are all familiar with. We've had the AS degree program in business administration for countless numbers of years now. I even forget how old this is, but it's that exact same program, same courses that are required. The only difference is that this new program, the fully online program, we refer to it as BFNT. So the BFNT program is offered fully online. So it's just the modality of how the course is disseminated to the students, how the course is offered, how the program is offered is the difference between the traditional one and this new one. So the traditional one still exists. So we still do have the traditional in-person business administration program. This one is the new one. So we refer to it as BFNT, business FNET. The sub-plan is BAONL. So this program is, again, requires 30 credits in the Common Core, just as before, 29 credits in the major. I can show you let me share this screen here briefly and show you the sequence of courses that's required. So the first semester, and ignore that fall 2021, those were my notes when I came aboard. So the first semester, we typically, a student would take English 101, a math course 114 or 119, a business BU 201, which is our introductory business course, and CIS 205, which is also one of the CIS introductory courses, and one course from the flexible core. So the next semester, we hope that the students progress in cohorts. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, and we're okay if it doesn't. But the second semester, we would expect them to take English 102, one of the math courses, 128 or 440 or 260. Typically, I do believe it's 128 and 260 that seems to be popular. BU 101, which is our accounting course, and then another course from the flexible core. Going forward in the third semester, we would expect them to take BU 102, which is the progression from BU 101, the second accounting course. BU 203, which is the statistics course. Econ 101 or 102, and then 2 courses from the flex core. The final semester, they will be taking 1 business course, which is 301, and then a course from the life and physical sciences, a lab course, and 2 courses from the flexible core. So this is the progression, and nothing has changed. This is exactly the same as what is required for our traditional BT AS program, the business transfer administration program. And now let me see if I can go back to my PowerPoint slide. And so we're looking for, 30 credits in the Common Core, 29 credits in the major. All classes in the fully online business program are FNET classes. And ideally, we want all classes to be asynchronous because after all, this is a fully online business program. We are able to achieve the asynchronous part in the business department. However, as you just saw, we have, other classes from other departments that the students have to take. Mostly we've been able to get asynchronous classes. Sometimes it happens to be a synchronous class, and last semester we've adjusted, as the other chairs are on board, and as we as this program becomes a little bit more popular, hopefully more FNET asynchronous sections will be available in the other departments as well. The only sort of problem we still have is with the lab classes. So we're still trying to figure out whether the students would be taking the lab classes here or they will be taking the lab classes outside of QCC in some other CUNY school where they can take it fully online. So, but that is the last semester, the fourth semester. So we're not there yet with our cohort of students. Again, we are, still ironing out some of the issues. We are learning as we go along, and you will probably expect to see some changes in the programs as we go along, and I'll keep you updated, next semester or next year, if and when that happens. So. One other significant difference with the fully online, the BFNT program, is that it is fully transferable to CUNY School of Professional Studies. So our students who graduate here can go to SBS, finish their bachelor's fully online, and if they desire, then they can finish their master's fully online as well. Okay, so we have an articulation in place, and this is something that's very valuable to a lot of students. If they want to continue further, this is a huge plus point and a huge, frankly, a selling point for the program. So, so there are two selling points. One is that it's fully online. And the second is that, it's fully transferable to SBS, and then they can take their studies further to a bachelor's or even a master's degree. So as I mentioned before, we soft launched this program in 2021, and we started with only 8 students. We are now currently at a position where we have 71 students in the program. So yes, our students, they love to take online classes. And we realize that some of the popularity is because, courses are offered fully online. So we've come up with certain criteria. What is this? Hold on one sec, I'm just trying to move this along. Okay, so who is this program for? Ideally, the reason this program got started was because we have, we wanted new students. We wanted more enrollment in the business department, number one. We find that it's a very, very valuable program for a lot of students who are working full-time. Mothers with young children at home, veterans. We've actually had interest expressed to us, and I have personally received emails from a lot of students who are, or a lot of potential students, let me put it this way, who want to get their degree, who want to eventually even look for a bachelor's and a master's, but they want to do this on an online. And post-pandemic, I think this has become a sort of, I don't want to say a popular way, but it's become an alternative way to earn a degree and go further in your career. And So we wanted to take advantage of that. We wanted to provide this opportunity to those who are not able to come on campus and earn their degrees. So it's basically really targeted for those new students, for that category of students. However, that's not to say that we are saying no to our current QCC students. So among the current QCC students, we are saying we will admit students, and we have in the last semester, with no more than 30 credits completed. And this is very important for advisors, because we really don't want students who have progressed in their in their academic career, and they just want to, the last semester they just want fully online. That's not the goal of this program. So no more than 30 credits completed, please, and good academic standing. And by good academic standing, I know QCC guideline is, a GPA of 2.0. I am talking with administration to see if we can up that the GPA requirement a little bit. I don't have any answers yet. If and when that changes, I will absolutely let you all know, okay? For the time being, though, it's no more than 30 credits completed and a GPA of 2.0 is what we are looking for. And there's a reason for that. The reason is, when students are taking online classes, the general feeling is that, oh, it's much easier. I can stay home and I can do this. Unfortunately, that's not the truth. And as you all well know, I'm sure you know this, online courses are not necessarily easier. In fact, students need to be willing and capable. That is very important. They need to be willing and capable of independent learning. They need to be self-directed. They need to be self-regulated students. I will tell you this. I am currently taking an online course myself, fully online course. And I tell you, I have to schedule myself in, and, I do it on a Saturday because Monday through Friday, I am so busy, I don't get the time, but I have to schedule myself in on a Saturday morning while the rest of my household is, relaxing and having a good time. I actually sit with my cup of coffee and I go to school and I do my learning and I do my homework. And I find that if I do not schedule this in, I tend to, I tend to miss. And if I miss a week, then, that's a lot to miss. So this is something that for students, as they come to you for advisement and they've already been admitted, they come to you for advisement. One of the things that I would like you guys to absolutely stress is that this is not an easy cop-out way to get a degree. This is difficult. This is difficult. It's doable, and there's a lot of advantage, but it is not an easy, laid back way to do this, because students really do need to be willing and capable of independent learning. As faculty, I know I tend to hold hands, of my students, especially the in-person ones, but in an online, especially asynchronous mode, they have to be able to follow along. They have to be able to do their assignments on time. They have to be able to keep up with class. They have to be able to follow instructions online. Okay. And sometimes I find that students find it challenging. And sometimes I find that faculty, and me included, I find it very challenging to, if there is a student who's falling off the crack, to find that student, get hold of that student and bring them back into the fold. So this is something, we have to work both ways. The faculty has to be, and faculty do this all the time. They have to be hands-on pretty much, but the students also need to be made aware that they really have to be on top of their courses, and they really have to follow through, because we don't want to lose students because they're not keeping up. As I said, there is, okay, let me just move on to the next. So as I mentioned before, I am the coordinator for this program. I came on board, we soft launched this in the fall of 2021. And towards the very end of 2021 is when I came on board. Prior to me, our chairperson, Professor Ben Morollo, was the one who was coordinating, and they needed a dedicated person, so here I am. Prior to this, I used to be the coordinator of the management program. I did that for about 6-7 years or so, and so now that responsibility I've given up. I'm focusing solely on this. Natalie Rupchand has been an enormous help, an enormous asset, and I really don't think we could have accomplished what we did without Natalie's help. So a huge shout out to Natalie and her team. And so if you have any questions regarding the program, do feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available. I may not be able to answer your emails right away because I'm either in a meeting or in another class, but I will get to you. And feel free to reach out to Natalie as well. So last semester, I had shared a little bit of a brief write-up on the program, and I actually did not think to bring it with me. It's a write-up, so you don't need to see the PowerPoint, you don't need to see it on screen. What I will do is I will share this with everybody so that everything that I have just said, what the program is, who it is for, is in that write-up, and I'll share it with possibly with Duke, maybe William, and possibly Natalie, and then maybe they can share it with the rest of the group.
Real quick, Dr. Shekar, this call is being recorded too, and it'll be uploaded to YouTube, so you'll have an active link to it as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So, and before I finish, I just want to say I really appreciate everything that you do. You guys have a very difficult task, and you are, overloaded with cases. I understand that. And, having been coordinator for the management program, I totally understand that. And I appreciate truly, from the bottom of my heart, any help that you can provide, because you do make my job as a coordinator a lot easier. And so a huge thank you to you guys. I appreciate everything that you do, as does the business department. And just because there is nobody else in the from the business department here today, I want to just quickly put this slide up, folks. These are the other programs that we have in the business department. We have an AAS in accounting. Professor Christina Manzo is the coordinator. I have her, her email next to her name. She's your go-to for accounting courses. The AAS in management, I have given over the responsibility to Dr. Cheryl Toki, and she may have already reached out to some of the advisors, but anyway, her name is there and her email is there. Professor Marilyn Katz is the coordinator for the AAS in CIS, and she has been coordinator for a very long time, so I do believe most of you already know her. And of course, our chair is Professor Ben Morollo, Sebastian Ben Morollo, and I have his email up here too. It sort of works better that, if as advisors, if you have questions, if you would direct it to the coordinators rather than to the chair, it's better, because sometimes we are able to resolve the issue and then it doesn't need to be escalated to Ben. However, if in any event, if it does need to be escalated, we can always send it up to Ben. And Ben gets like probably 100 emails a day, and might be overwhelmed and might not get to it. So it's better that you reach out to the coordinators first, and then, then if necessary, we'll escalate things to Ben. So That's all I have. And again, thank you once again from the business department. You know, we truly appreciate, we truly appreciate what you do. And let me throw the floor open to you guys. Do you have any questions? Anything that I might answer for you now? Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for letting me speak. And I'm sure I'll be in touch with you all in the future, in the coming semesters.
Great.
Hey,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Sarkar, I'm so sorry. This is Crystal Moscott. I'm so sorry to interrupt. But I actually did have a question about the 30 credits. I just wanted
Yes.
to make sure that, you know, everybody's on the same page with that. So for the 30 credit, I guess, minimum, does that include transfer credits? And does it include credits that don't necessarily apply, you know, towards the major? So, you know, if I have some classes that don't necessarily apply to the BT program, is that included in the 30 credits that you were referring to?
Let me answer this. We want 30 completed credits in the business major. There is a little bit of there are some issues with this, and we are still getting this sorted out. As of now, and I know that registration starts in April, and last semester we had some problems with some of the students, and we had to go back and forth, and we did it on a case-by-case basis. I'm trying to get some kind of a blanket understanding, and I have my questions up to administration, and I'm hoping by the end of the week we will get some answers. As and when I do, I will pass it along to you guys. Right now, all I can say is, all I've been told is that no more than 30 completed credits, but we don't have too much information beyond that. Okay. Again, you know, please be patient, because this is a very new program. And the reason we are doing the credit limit is because, you know, we are trying to make sure the right kind of students are applying for the program. So I will get you your answers. I have a bunch of questions up to administration, and we will, I'm expecting answers by the end of the week, actually.
Great. You could send us some.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
My question is, could you please repeat the name of this fully online course again?
Yeah, so it's a fully online business administration program.
Okay.
And the sub-plan, we refer to it as BFNT. The sub-plan is BAONL. So it is the BTAS. It's that traditional BTAS program with a sub-plan of BAONL.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
One thing that I do want to mention is that as you guys are, you know, putting students into the courses, the necessary courses, what I have requested, and I know the business department has already done this, what I have requested the other coordinators and the other chairs to do is to, let's say that there is a class, English 101. So we're saying, if this is meant for, the BFNT students have priority registration. So if this is meant for BFNT students, then we say, please designate your class like English 101 BFNT section 1. We are asking for 2 sections because we have, you know, and we expect we're going to have enough students to fill up the 2 sections. So that way, then the advisors, when you're looking for these classes, you know, it pops up. You're looking for the BFNT classes. Those are the ones that are going to be reserved for our students. Now, I know that the business department is doing this. This is how we are progressing. Again, you know, this program has other departments involved, and sometimes it's difficult for them to do it the way I'm suggesting, but definitely for the business courses, look for, BU 203, BFNT 1 would be the first section, BU 203, BFNT 2 would be the second section. Any other questions?
One last one from Ryan, and then we have to move on. So if a class is asynchronous, those BT online courses are full, can we put them in?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
If the classes in BT are, if it's an asynchronous class and those BT online sections are full, can we put them in?
So that's why we are having, that's why we are reserving these classes specifically for the online program students, or specifically for the BFNT students. So if there are other BT classes and they are FNET classes, I wouldn't just put our students in those classes. So I would start with the ones that are designated BFNT. Let's fill those first. And then if there are spillovers, we're reserving 2 sections for FNET course for this BFNT program. And so if those fill up, then we can start putting students in the other sections. But I would start with the ones that are designated for the BFNT students. There is a reason for that. The faculty, especially in the business department, the faculty teaching those BFNT classes are trained to be teaching asynchronous as well. So, and I cannot guarantee that for, other sections. Does that answer your question, Ryan?
Sorry, yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Shakar.
Thank you very much.
All
Bye-bye.
right.
Bye, everybody. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, moving on is we have Dr. Jennifer Malloy from English.
Hi,
Hi.
everyone. I was wondering, oh, good, I'm able to share my screen. Okay, so
Go for
yeah,
it.
I am again the chairperson of the English department. And I just wanted to give a quick overview of what we'll be offering during the summer as well as in the fall for students who have a developmental English need or who have been identified as ESL and need an additional course beyond English 101 based on their CAT-E diagnostic exam. So I should have handouts that I will be sharing with everyone very soon. But just to give you a general sense of what we are doing, we will be offering BE 29, which is our reading and writing workshop for continuing students. That will start Tuesday, May 31st and run through Thursday, June 16th. It's similar to what it has been in the past. It's 48 hours. We're going to have 11 class sessions. So Mondays through Thursdays, no Friday sessions. We'll have morning, afternoon, and evening sections. And we're also going to be offering fully online as well as partially online options. So our fully online courses will involve 2-hour synchronous class meetings each day, plus asynchronous work. And then the partially online sections will offer Tuesday and Thursday in-person class meetings from 9 to 2, as well as asynchronous work for Mondays and Wednesdays. Again, these workshops are for continuing students. So any students who have received an R in English 99, which is the correct portion of our ALP, or students who are exiting English 90, which is our ESL reading and writing course. Students who are exiting CUNY Start or students who are exiting CLIP, who've been advised to take ALP can also register for this workshop. Students who've been advised to take English 90 who are exiting CLIP should take English 90 in the fall. We will be offering BE 30, which will be reading and writing workshops for incoming students, and those will take place in August. We're going to have workshops for students with deep developmental needs in English, as well as workshops for students with light developmental needs. We may be adjusting this a bit from the offerings we've had in the past, so we will provide more details soon. And the contact person for these workshops, if you do have questions, is Ilse Schreinemakers. She's the Deputy Chairperson of English, and I've included her email here if you have questions. And then I also just wanted to give you a preview of our ALP offerings for the fall. Again, ALP is a co-requisite course where students can take English 101 as well as English 99 in the same semester. Both courses are linked in CUNY First, so it's important to register students for the linked sections of 101 and 99, and both are taught by the same instructor. And as a reminder, students who receive an English proficiency index score of 50 to 64 are eligible for ALP, as well as students who are identified as ESL and have been recommended based on their diagnostic writing exam, and also students exiting CUNY Start or CLIP. Students who have below a 50 with an EPI score should work with a CUNY Start advisor to learn about their options. You know, we really want to try to make sure that that happens for fall 2022. And likewise with ESL, we do have our English 90 course that is designed for students who need some additional support before they move on to ALP. And then also CLIP is an option, and the students should be placed based on their CAT-E performance. In terms of the modalities that we'll have for fall 2022, most of our sections are going to be in person. So we have about 13 sections that are in person, one fully online section, and then we also are going to offer a number of hybrid sections where students are meeting perhaps once a week for each class. Some hybrid sections have the 101 as an online course, and then an in-person meeting for the English 99. So again, those should be coming up in a flyer relatively soon, so you can see the actual listing of sections. We also are considering having some sections that will be designated for multilingual learners, and those will be opt-in, and students who have been identified as ESL or who are multilingual and just interested in getting some linguistic support in their English 99 course can register for these. And again, that the specific information about those will be included in a flyer that is forthcoming. So I think that's most of the information that I have. You know, we're going to be offering, of course, 101 and 102 in a variety of modalities. And then we also have all of our 200 level courses that are all writing intensive. And again, we'll be offering those in person, hybrid, and fully online. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Anyone? What's the ratio for your department as far as I know you gave the breakdown, but it's still 70-30 roughly as far as between the in-person and online?
That's what we're trying to do. We may try to have a few that percentage might be more heavily reliant on online or hybrid courses for English 102 and also our upper levels. That seems to be where the student preferences and also students seem to do better in those upper level courses in an online format. So generally it will be about 30-70 for each level, but perhaps more for the upper levels.
Are you offering any asynchronous over the summer?
So for the summer, we are offering online courses, hybrid courses, and then I think just a couple fully in-person courses. So for the summer, we have synchronous and asynchronous online, 101, 102, and also a couple upper levels. Most of our hybrid courses will meet 2 days a week in person and then have some additional online work. And then we do have a very few number of courses for students who would like to come Monday through Thursday to campus.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Well, if there isn't any other questions, last chance. Thank you for your time, Dr. Malloy. I really appreciate it. And welcome back as the chair of English.
Oh, thank you very much. And I hope you all have a good day. And if you have any questions, you can email me or Ilsa. And I promise we will have flyers very soon to share with specifics.
Great, I much appreciate it. Okay, moving on. Next is nursing. Anne-Marie Menendez. Hi, Anne-Marie.
Hi, William. How are you?
Good, good.
Thank you, everyone, for all your support and for listening. We appreciate all you do for our students. I'll start by saying that really all our updated information is on our website. We work really hard to keep our website up to date. So students should review that carefully. It has all the requirements and really all the information that the students will need. And again, I think as someone mentioned, sometimes students don't do that. We get emails from students asking, very general questions. I mean, we're happy to field them, but all our information is on the website and it is up to date. Our application is there and students will apply online. The application dates for this that we're accepting this spring for the fall, the applications open on March 28, and it closes on April 8th. And again, those are the applicants who will be applying for the fall semester. So that's all on our website. We did, in terms of admissions, we did, we edited our letter of acceptance for students that are accepted. And when students are accepted to our program, they receive a very detailed step-by-step process of what they need to do to meet all our requirements. And very much like massage therapy was saying earlier, there's a lot of requirements, but we do have a very detailed email that goes to all students step-by-step of what they need to do in order to be ready to come in. Students that are accepted into the program in order to comply with all our requirements. And by the way, students need to understand it is not our decision, but all our clinical sites require that students have be fully vaccinated with 2 vaccinations as well as a booster, and they must have a flu shot. So we have no clinical agencies that will accept students without full compliance with 2 COVID vaccines, a booster, and a flu vaccine. We did have some students that had gone through the university, because I think the university is handling religious and other exemptions, and they came into our program, and we were not aware because health service does not always see that, and they were not able to continue in the program, which was unfortunate because we lost seats for our students that could have come in. So students, again, it is our clinical agencies, and all our clinical agencies, there's no exception, require all faculty, students to 2 vaccines, booster and flu vaccines. So students need to understand that as well. As I was saying earlier, we did change our letter of acceptance because a lot of our students are moving very quickly. A lot of them might be in transition of taking courses such as their micro or perhaps their second bio course. So our letter of acceptance to students may read that your acceptance is continuous on passing the courses that you're enrolled in. And remember that students must have a C or better in their math and science courses. So if they are enrolled, let's say in micro, and they get a D, they would forfeit their seat. They could repeat it, but we're not going to hold a seat for someone who has not met the criteria for our program. So they would need to, their seat would be, we would rescind their seat and they'd have to repeat the course. So that's in our letter now. We had an issue last year with a few students. So we wanted to make that clear to students. For the fall, we will be, as we have been, students will be in clinical, students will be on labs, and our classroom or lecture courses will be hybrid. They will be coming on campus one day and going and doing some work online. But students will be in the clinical as they have been really throughout this semester and most of last semester. They have been in the clinical sites, our hospital sites. They have been on our labs on campus, and their lectures will be hybrid. Some will be online and some will be on campus. All testing throughout our program will be on campus at the testing centers. I think the last thing that is always important, and I would ask you to share with our students, is that, you know, Queensborough is a great place to start, but they cannot finish with us. They need to get their bachelor's. There is a New York State where they need to have requirements of a BSN within 10 years. And our students, once they're accepted into our program, in that first clinical course 101 at the end, they apply for one of our dual joint programs, which is Hunter Bellevue School of Nursing, York College, or CUNY's School of Professional Study. Hunter is mostly online. School of Professional Study is fully online, and York is a hybrid program. So all students must complete their bachelor's. We do, even if they do not get into our dual joint, they could still go to any of the CUNY schools in their BSN completion program. And we recommend that they stay with CUNY because we know they're strong programs. We know that they're more affordable and they're fully recognized by our hospital institutions. We are seeing a real uptick, as you know, because of the need for nursing. Partners that have not considered us in the past are reaching out. We have, we're setting up a, Northwell has reached out, they're meeting with our graduates. Visiting Nurse Service has reached out to meet with our graduates. St. Mary's Children's Hospital. You know, there really is a desperate need for nurses. So a lot of the institutions, we now have a new partnership with Jamaica Hospital, where we have designated units, as well as Queens Hospital Center. So we're very excited about those opportunities for our students. So, you know, I thank you for all your hard work, and we're excited to welcome our new group of students in the fall. So we had a wonderful, we had great success in 2021. For the completion of that year, we had a pass rate on the NCLEX of 99.04. So we had 104 students take their NCLEX and 103 passed. And we're just thrilled with that. We're really excited for our students. They're just amazing. So thank you. And I'll happy to answer any questions. You know, again, we have our website, but many students walk into our office in Medical Arts 302. We're always here. And we also, our administrators are happy to answer calls, and we also get a lot of emails. So we try to always be accessible to students. And if you folks have questions, please reach out to us. And again, thank you for all your good work. I want to see if there's anyone in the chat. Let's see. Alternate 2 courses for anyone listed on the nursing website. Alternate 2 courses. I'm not sure what that means. Is there an alternate 2 courses for NU 101. Oh, maybe I'm not sure what that means, but in the fall, we do admit an evening program. So students who are interested in the evening, we bring them in the fall. So we're anticipating bringing in 88 nursing students in the fall, and about 24 of them will be evening students. We only admit evening once a year. We do admit twice a year to our day program, fall and spring. Our evening students, and we're one of the few programs that have an evening component, they are students who work full-time and come to our evening program. So is that what you mean by 101 alternate program? I forgot who had the question in the chat. Landrina, was I answered that question for you? I'm not sure.
So on the website, it says that you can complete one of the following courses, either Nursing 101 or Nursing 110 and 111.
Oh, that is as old as the hills. I asked Michael to remove that.
Okay.
That is not our program. That has nothing to do with us, never has. But thank you. I'll bring that back to his attention.
Okay.
I had met with him to make some changes, and that is not accurate.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, because I called nursing department today, and she did mention that that's a Academy's submission and not a nursing submission. So I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no. We have 4 clinical courses. So when students, students of course, as you know, come to Queensborough, they're admitted to Queensborough, and then they apply to our program. And there's 4 clinical courses, NU 101, NU 102, NU 201, and NU 202. And then we have a leadership course, which is NU 204. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the clarification.
Sure. Thanks, Landrina. Let's see if there's any other question. Does the evening program include evening clinical hours? Yes, it does. So our evening students, when they're applying, they're folks that have to have all their other courses really completed, because some of our students, and of course, as you know, more and more of our students are looking to move through very quickly, so they might be taking courses with our clinical courses. Our evening folks have to have their courses completed, because once they come into our program, the evening program is 4 evenings a week. So they have clinicals on Monday and Tuesday evening, and they have lecture on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So they're very busy. So they need to complete all their programs, all their prerequisites prior to coming into our nursing program. I think there was another question. Yes, speech is still required. Students must take the speech test in order to apply for the program. And the speech department either gives them a go-ahead, or they need to take, if they don't pass it, they're required to take speech 007.
So if they take SP 211, then they wouldn't necessarily have to do the speech placement, or would they have to do?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let me ask Connie about that. I forget. Yeah. Let me just hold on.
Thank you.
So you're asking if they pass 211, do they have to take the speech test?
Exactly.
All right,
yes. Thanks so much.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Hold on.
Hello.
I think, let me just see if I guess, any more questions for nursing? Looks like she might come back. All right, well, anyway, Dr. Osorio, if you'd like to start, that would be great. And then we can get back to, oh, wait a minute, one second.
I'm sorry, I just want to get clarify. I have a lot of people that help me because I forget.
Okay.
If they're, sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. If they're in the process, if they complete 211 successfully, they do not have to take the speech test. If they're in the process of taking speech 211 and they're applying, we will not accept that. They have to take the speech test. Is that clear? So if their application is in and they're in the process of taking 211, they have to complete the speech test for us to consider their application. But if they have passed speech 211, they do not need to take the speech test.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the
Thanks.
clarification.
Sure, thanks, Crystal.
Any last minute questions before we move on to foreign language department?
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thanks a lot.
Take care.
Okay, take care. Okay, you are good to go.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for coming.
Well, no big changes in our case. I want to say that we are offering 3 new courses, LS 401. This one is going to be offered, and we started offering this semester as a WI, Writing Intensive. It's teaching English. And we had 2 new classes, LS 215 and LS 216. Those are 3 credit classes we are going to start offering next semester. One of our concern, and I want to ask your advice, is possible that we teach some writing intensive classes in Spanish? Any idea, any possibility to do that? Because actually 3 Spanish instructors, 2 we took already the WI training, and 1 is taking this semester, and we want to start offering this kind of classes, but we need the administration okay in this particular case. In terms of any other changes, we are almost completing the articulation agreement with your college. We are waiting for them to submit the approval. It was approved already at QCC. We are trying to explain, and we can to promote the international concentration that we are offering. And in this part, we need your help when any student is interested in take foreign language classes to let them know that we had this international concentration. And we are in the process of also start offering a Spanish concentration for the semester. We are going to submit the whole form for the Senate in a couple of weeks. This is something that is going to be new probably for fall semester if we are lucky and it's approved. In terms of the placement for the foreign language department, this is one of the main concerns that we have. We find out that some students are taking classes without the placement, and then it's a big problem for them and for the instructor, because we need to tell them that they have to fill out the placement form for the foreign language department. It's mandatory, they had to do it in order to place them in the right classes. If no, sometimes they appear in the classes 2 or 3 weeks later, and it's hard for us to find out the right class for them. And this is one of the main concerns that we have. We really need that every student, before they take any foreign language classes, they have to fill out the placement form. They need to answer all the questions that we have right there. This is one of the main things that we need to ask you to help us in this particular case. In terms of the grading, it's the same criteria. When a student is taking 111 and needs to take 112, for example, they need a grading of C or higher for the class to take the next level. This is something that we are not changing yet. And this is mostly what we have for the department. 3 new classes, working in the Spanish concentration, and we need your help with the placement for the foreign language department. We really need a student filling out before they decide to take any class with us. They can take the placement online. It's convenient for the student and also for us, and this is the best way to attract the student. We try to follow when the students submit the placement, we immediately try to decide if this is the right class, the right level for the students. All the time we are checking those placements. Yes, we plan to continue offering the LS 401 Spain today for fall 2. Every student needs to fill out the placement. They had to do it even if they don't know anything about the language that they want to learn, but we need that. The placement is in the website. Yeah, it is right there. Every student, knowing nothing or knowing a lot from the language that they decide to study, they need to fill out the placement. They can do it from home, and it is online.
I'm sorry, I have a question. My name is Jackie. Good afternoon, everyone, or right, good afternoon. I deal a lot with students that are doing liberal arts that need the 2 semesters of the foreign language. And a lot of my students bring in the AP from high school. A lot of the problems that I'm seeing is that they're bringing in the AP and then they're getting placed maybe at 213, but then when I'm advising them, I'm being told by admissions that they need to take the placements, and then I've been kind of just going back and forth with this. So I don't know what is the easiest way, because typically, obviously, in my opinion, and again, I'm not an expert, but if they got credit for 213, to me, it seems like they should be going right on to 214, like LS, right? So if they got AP credit for LS 213, they should be going on to 214, but admissions is not saying that. They're saying that the student needs to be placed onto a different level. And I've been kind of going back and forth. I know I've emailed you on this a couple of times. So I'm not sure what is the proper protocol, specifically when it comes to the APs that are coming in.
Yeah, for example, as I mentioned before, every student needs to fill out the placement. If the placement say for this particular student that the level is 214 and the student has AP already, then 213 is the class that is going to be equivalent for this AP. And the student receives 3 credits, or in this particular case for that class. That means student is going to receive 3 credits for 213, but needs to take the 214 class according with the placement.
So let's say, for example, a student can bring in AP 213 and then they take the placement and they can easily fall on 311. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I say is that we don't know. The AP is not necessarily equivalent to 213. We do the placement here, independent of the student having AP or no.
Yeah.
According with the placement, if the student plays, let's see, in the level 300, then the AP is going to count for the previous level that is 200 level.
Okay, so, and I'm sorry to interrupt. So I think that's where the confusion is at, because usually when the student, and again, a lot of my students, I want to say like a good 25% bring in the AP. So what I do is I tell them you have to contact the college board, send over the AP over. It's sent over, I contact admissions, I tell them, and then Kenyatta tells me from admissions, the student is at LS 213, for example. So I'm automatically thinking the student should be going to 214 next. But she's saying no, she's saying that the student needs to be placed. And sometimes the student is placed at 311. So I'm like, I'm not even sure what this process is like. If the AP, again, the translation from the admissions office, the way that they're evaluating the AP is at 213. But then the student takes the placement exam and they're landing at 311. And I'm just like, okay, so how do we?
This is the placement is what is going to talk about, tell us what is the right level for the student. If the student is placed in 311 but has an AP, then the AP is going to be validated for a 200 level class. That is the class before the 300 level, below that kind of level.
Okay, so I guess for me, if the placement comes in, I'm saying the AP comes in, let's say at 213, regardless, I'm gonna tell the student to do the placement with you guys, correct?
They have to, yes. They have to, and then I give you another example. Let's see, and a student has an AP, a student needs to fill out the placement form, and the student is coming in a particular case with a level 222.
Right.
Then we are going to assess this particular student for AP for the level 221. Okay, that is the previous level. This is 222. Then before that, the student needs to take 221. If the student with the AP is placed according with the placement that we have in the level 222, the EP is going to be equivalent for the 221.
Regardless of how admissions, okay, so I guess I'll continue to email you, I guess regardless of how admissions evaluated it, right? Because again, a lot of my students are coming in at 213 and then sometimes they're placed at a 300 level. And I'm like, okay, so what are we doing here, right? So I think, and then Kenyatta keeps saying, oh, it has to go through foreign, it's just like a big mess. But I guess I just need to just make sure that I'm always touching base with you guys just to make sure that they're getting the actual placement, because again, we don't want to, you know, misinform the student, right? When I think admissions doesn't really understand what the protocol is. And I don't know if they're on here, but I think, you know, there's a little bit of a disconnection because I always feel like I'm being sent back and forth on this. But
Okay,
thank you, I appreciate
thank you for your hand, Jacqueline. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
David has a question.
Hi, I'm sorry, my my mouse wasn't working to unmute. I actually just had a response to Jackie's question about the placements, even with AP classes. This was something I had studied at Hunter College when I was doing the linguistics program, and it's also something I experienced as a transfer student to Hunter College with my German studies. And I think part of the necessity also of doing a placement here, even for transfer students who may be coming in with freshman students with AP credits, also comes down to the issue of the needing to know where they're at with their proficiency with the language by the time they get to us versus when they completed, you know, whatever the AP courses that they come in with, because there is the issue of exposure and use with the language. And also, even if they may be coming with an equivalency for one of our courses, there still may be the question of how the material was provided and in what order. So the difference between being a student who comes with, let's say, a Spanish class that utilized writing, but perhaps didn't focus on the writing as heavily as our version of the class would. So maybe then they would not be as prepared for the next level class with the AP course as they would be if they had taken our class. So that also comes to an issue, and also versus when they took the AP class versus when they'd be going to the advanced course now. Because it's with language, as we know, especially with the secondary language or even a language you're learning that you don't speak commonly, if you don't use it, you lose it. So I think that also is where we tend to find that confusion with students who come in with those credits. It's not necessarily that they have the credits and that immediately should put them in the next level course, but really to determine with their proficiency of the language now, when they come to us, are they still prepared for that next level course? And I think that's an issue that we see a lot, that it tends to bring a lot of confusion and also frustration for students who maybe took the course but haven't kept up with the study.
Yeah, this is exactly one of the reasons that we asked the administration to provide a better placement form, but it costs money. We try many years already to convince the administration that we really need a good placement. And a good placement costs around probably between 7,000 to 10,000 per year. And they say, well, we don't have money to do that. Then we invented our own placement. This is very simple. From a linguistic perspective, it's not enough. That's why one of the things that we do, especially for heritage students, is after they fill out the placement, we try to interview them. We had 2 or 3 colleagues doing that part before we start classes, because we know that this placement that we have right now that we are implementing at QCC is not the right one. And I hope so. Maybe you can help us to convince the administration that we need to purchase a very good placement, and some institutions, they really have a good placements. For us, it will be the best thing to do it. But you mentioned 2 things, David, that are important. One, some students came with the AP, but when we ask them to write or to speak, we find out that they are probably not prepared for specific classes. Or also, sometimes they took the AP 2, 3, 4 years ago, and they start practicing the language that they did. This is a lot of gaps, and that's why we decide to place it according with the placement, not only based only in the AP. The AP is good for them to receive the credits, 3 or 4 credits. but the placement is telling us for what proper level the students prepare. And I answering the Jeff question in this particular case for us. The placement that the student fill out here, QCC, is what's telling us the proper level for the student. And if the student is coming with an AP, then we validate this AP for the previous level.
I just wanted to say this, Jackie, again, I just wanted to say, like, thank you for answering that. So I think that really the disconnection comes to admissions, right? Because they're you know, when the placement comes in, they're already giving the student the credit for that. So I guess once the student does the placement exam, then that actual credit prior to it needs to be adjusted. I think that's what the issue is, right? And I think that's really where maybe the disconnection is, where the admissions is automatically giving them the credit for whatever it is, and then where the placement is. So there's a little bit of a gap there. So it might, you know, this might allow us to kind of go back and forth on this, right? But I guess once a student is placed, let's say, for example, at a certain level, then we can always, once that placement is on there, I can always just go back to admissions and tell them to readjust that AP score, right? And if anything, I can always, I guess, reach out to you, but I've encountered this quite a lot recently. But thank you for answering that.
No, I know that, but that, yes, it's the way that it has to be done in this particular case.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, thanks to you, Jacqueline. One of the things that happens and happens a lot in our department is a student that came without a proper placement form fill out. Please help us to tell the student this is not optional, that they had to do it. Also, we find out it's little cases, but some cases that students just, they already speak Italian or Spanish, they decide to take the LI 111 or LS 111. And when the instructor find out that the student knows already the language that they are taking at this elementary level, the instructor, the faculty can ask the student to take the class that is right for the student. It's not the student who decide what class is going to take it, because it's not every student that knows Spanish or Italian, they are going to take 111, which is not the right class for them, because it's a disadvantage for the student that really need to learn. And the main goal for the student is that they learn something new, not that they just sitting in the class for something that they already know. Then any student that is coming to take classes with us, they need to have a placement form already filled out. And it's up to the instructor, after the instructor talk to the student, to decide if that one is the right level for the student.
I have a question.
Yes.
If a student took LS 111 elementary Spanish, and the first time they did not pass the course, when they get ready to retake the class, do they have to fill out another placement form, or are they good? Okay.
No, they don't need to do it.
Okay, thank you.
No, because it's already registered in CUNY, and we can check that one. Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering because I have a student that took the LS 111 and failed it the first time, and he was repeating it for the spring, and he had emailed me saying he got a WN, but I know what WN meant, but I just wanted to be sure that it wasn't because he needed to upload another placement form. Okay, thank you so much.
No, thanks to you. No need to do that. Just if the student decide to change the language, in that particular case, they need to fill out a new placement form. And it happens a lot with some students. It will be great if the CUNY fees be ready to prevent a student from enrolling into 111 section without having complete place. It will save a lot of time for us, especially when the classes start. And now that a lot of classes are online or hybrid, the student appears 3 weeks after we start the classes, and we find out that they already speak Spanish or Italian, and find the right class for the student after 3 weeks or starting the semester is hard for us, and also it's not easy sometimes to have the right time for the student to take the classes. It will be great to have this kind of implementation on Cuniverse.
Any other questions? Seems like there was quite a bit.
Deborah asks if there is any smart key for surveys that can be provided to advise if the survey is done during the advisement session for placement in the beginning intermediate level. Usually in Cuniverse, as soon as we receive the placement form, we add the information on Cuniverse, and the Cuniverse appears if the student did the placement, and also the level that the students needs to take. And it's in the section that I guess is when you press when you enter the student ID and you go to the section that say admission. In the bottom of that part, you can see the information about the placement in Cuniverse for each student.
I'm sorry, this is Jackie again. I just wanted to make another comment on the bottom of the form too, of all the forms, you know, the student has to type in the date and stuff like that. I noticed that they're unable to type in like their signature and stuff like that. So they're always asking me, how do I do that? So I just tell them on the date, just type your name and right next to it, just put in the date. But on that little bottom section of every form, they're unable to sign it electronically, right? So I don't know why is that. So everywhere else they can type in their information, but not under the signature. And this actually applies to, I believe, almost every single form. So again, my solution is, you know, where the date is at, I said, just type in your name and just put in the date right next to it. So I'm not sure if that can be fixed, because they're always emailing me about that.
Okay, great.
Yes, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks to you. That's a great suggestion. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Okay, well, thank you, Professor Osorio. It was a pleasure. And if you have any other updates or anything like that, please send it to us. But I think we have the placement form. And let's see here. Okay. So there's one more question here. Okay. All right. So moving on.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Okay, you too. Moving on, we are going to have Patty Beal. She's going to talk to us about updates with the early childhood program.
Hi, everybody. How are you? I hope you're all well. So most of you are going to know sort of what I'm going to share, but there seems to be just a little bit of confusion with some folks. So this is just a friendly reminder of some of the things in the LE program. I'm going to try to share my screen. Here we are. Okay. I'm clicking it and I want to share. There we go. Okay. This is really important. So the New York State core requirements, it's English 101, English arts, social studies, math, lab sciences, education, and music 210. These are what we call the New York State core requirements. In each of these categories, there must be a B or better. So in English 101 or 102, English 101 or 102 can be a B or better. Social studies, which is either social science or history, can be a B, has to be a B or better, one course in that. And the same thing with the Math 303. If they don't get a B or better in Math 303, we can use in order to graduate the Math 119. Again, laboratory sciences as well. One of them has to be a B or better, education and music. If they do not have a B or better in one of these disciplines, they can't graduate. It becomes an issue. Sometimes if they have a B- and they're just a little off, we can get a waiver from the social science department for them to be able to graduate. Also, they need a 2.75 GPA in order to graduate. Again, if they don't have that, they cannot graduate. That's very important. The other thing we have to remember is that the first thing we should do when we see an education student is to ask them what they're going to teach or what grade level they want to teach. And I've seen this a lot where students are they say they want to teach high school, they want to teach history, and they're in LE. If they want to teach history, they don't need, music for teachers of children. So we need to put them in a liberal arts with a history concentration. So it's very, very important to ask them that question. Also, another thing that's come up is, and we know that this particular degree has been revised several times. Since I've been here, it's been revised like 100 times, not maybe that much, but in the last couple of years, though, it had what I would call a second revision, and now we have a final or a third revision that we have brought out, like, I think, a year or so ago. But the problem is the advised elective section of the second remission that we had, it has a list. It says economics, English, political science, psychology, sociology, and biology. That is a recommendation. It's not necessarily a requirement, though the students should be encouraged. If they're going to major in psychology when they go to Queens or go somewhere else, then they need to take, some psychology courses and so forth. But technically, originally, this was supposed to be a free elective category where they could take anything they wanted. There was a little bit of confusion about it, and it became that it had to be those particular courses. So what the social science department did is they asked for a blanket waiver or a waiver for the students who had taken health classes and other disciplines instead of the ones listed, so that they would not go into fall through. That blanket waiver had a beginning and it had an end. So we found out last week that it has indeed expired. Spoke recently to Dr. Jankowski, who is now the chair of social science, and they are working yet once again to implement either a blanket waiver going forward or officially changing that to a free electives instead of advised electives. So if you see a student and they have taken like maybe stress management or health 102 and they're in fall through, then and there's no blanket waiver at that time yet, then you can contact the social science department, Dr. Jankowski, and he will submit a waiver for that student so they would be able to graduate. Okay. But again, just always make sure that you find out what level they're going to be teaching. If they're going to be teaching high school, then they don't need to be in LE. Also, another important thing to remember, if you have a student that's in liberal arts education, which we have sometimes, they don't have the rules that we have in LE, but if you have a student that's in that, and then all of a sudden they decide they want to go to Queens, there are certain courses that they have to take before they can transition into the education program. They need the 2 histories, they need the physics. Physics is very, very important over there in Queens. And of course, American History 127, American History 128, the math, these are important. And it's also important to let the student know that when they do transition to Queens College, the first thing they need to do is figure out a second major, which must be a liberal art, like sociology, psychology, history, English, so forth. And when they're about, say, 9 credits or so from finishing that degree, then they transition into early childhood. And so that when they graduate, they will get 2 bachelor's degrees, which is definitely what they would need to be certified. You need a second bachelor's to be certified in order to get your certification. So you can do it that way, or a student can, say, for instance, just major in sociology when they go to Queens and then get their master's degree in early childhood education. So that's another way for a student to be able to complete that for certification. I know most of you already know what I've just said, so, but it's just a friendly reminder. Does anybody have any questions? I'm sure you don't, but you might. Okay. All righty.
Anyone?
No, just a reminder, because I have seen some students in the last couple of weeks there was one girl in particular who had a C in English 101, a D in English 102, and she had no idea that she wasn't going to graduate. So, that was an example. Also, another important thing is a C. Every course that you take in the LE program must be a C or better for it to transfer to Queens College. If they have a C- or a D, they will graduate from here for sure. However, it will not transfer into that program at Queens. I know this is a lot of information, but all righty. I don't think anybody has a question.
No, I think we're good.
We're good.
All right. Thank you, Patty.
You're welcome. Okay, let me get out of here.
Yeah. Should be a stop share. Should be at the top of the screen. There we go. All right, everyone. I think that is all for our speakers today. So thank you again for this round of training and coming and your feedback and questions. I think everything's been good. Again, this will be recorded and sent out to everyone in the next day or two. So thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and this meeting's concluded.